Hi there, it's Shirley Joy Joffe here, and today is part 2 of the series of short bursts of Qigong foundations or basics. And today we're going to talk about breathing. In the last video we talked about how to stand. Today we're going to talk about how to breathe while you stand, which is again one of the fundamentals of Qigong movement, because as we start to do different positions or forms, flowing movements, the breath is integral in that. It's really, really an important part of where the out breath is, where the in breath is. But there's a specific type of breathing that we use. We call it Qi breathing or rib breathing. And we're going to begin just by putting our hands on our rib cage. And as you breathe in, the rib cage opens, the hands should come out. And as you breathe out, the rib cage compresses and squeezes the air out of the lungs, and the hands come together. The hands on here is literally just to give you a sensation of what the ribs should be doing, because some people, actually the rib cage is not yet very mobile. So practicing this gives you mobility in the rib cage, and part of that is giving you a bit more flexibility around the back and around the torso area, which is really, really important for your vital functions of all your organs. Your lungs need to expand, they need space, your heart needs space to pump, and all of the rest of the things. The function of how this works, you can go to the theory. The diaphragm pulls down, the lungs expand like a balloon. The lungs have no muscle, so the diaphragm is the mechanism of drawing air into the lungs. It's like bellows, you know. So as you pull, they open, air comes in, and as you push, air comes out. That's the ribs. So the way you're going to do it is by breathing through the nose, and you're going to have the tongue to the roof of your mouth with the tip of the tongue just behind the front teeth, keeping the lips closed and the teeth closed, but relaxed jaw. So we don't want to be clenching. Have relaxed jaw. Now I'm not going to be doing that because I'm going to be talking to you, but as you do it, that's where you should be. Okay. So let's begin. So we start with an out breath. The hands come in. Open ribs. Air comes in. And then compress. And imagine just compressing the rib cage together and pulling that diaphragm down. So you're not actually focusing on breathing in and breathing out. What you're focusing on is expanding rib cage, pulling diaphragm down, compressing rib cage, pushing diaphragm up. You won't be able to affect the diaphragm, but what you can do is you can do the rib cage, which affects that mechanism. It will do it automatically. It's something your body's designed to do, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So and relax your shoulders, relax your head, keeping the chin tucked in, head lifted. So you're doing this while you're in standing position. Now this on its own for 5 minutes will bring you straight into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and repair part of how the body works. And what you want to do is slowly get the length of the breath longer, especially the out breath, the exhale. If it helps you to count, you can count. So I sometimes do 6, 8. It actually doesn't matter the number. So start where you are and build up. To get into a really meditative state, 6, 4-6-4 is really good, but that's not a Qigong thing. That's more of a getting into meditation. But a nice one is 7-7. So just play with the length. The longer you go on the exhale, the more your body will drop into the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, I'd like to add something to that, which is where the air is going. So on sideways, if you can see, I could do this. I don't know if you can see that my belly is out, and then my belly goes in. Now that's okay. But what would be better is if I allowed the air to come down and drew the girdle of my torso in. So I'll breathe out first. So I'm still expanding my ribs, but you'll notice my belly isn't popping out. What that does is it allows the fascia around the girdle of the torso to really hold those organs in. And I noticed since I've been doing this over the course of a month, very lightly, that I'm starting to get contours just simply from breathing, not doing, all sorts of, I've not done any other exercise. I've been just doing Qigong because I'm in recovery at the moment. So just by that simple breathing mechanism of pulling down, it is training this area to hold. And that's going to, of course, hold the organs in place better and give them some structure on the inside. So the last thing to add with this, and I'm going to do it while sitting down because I have my chair here. This is Qi breathing. You can do on its own as an exercise. You don't need to do anything else if that's all the time you have, or if that's the capacity you have. So if when I've had issues with arms or hurt my legs or something, I'll just sit down or even lay down and I'll just do this breathing. So part of helping to get into a nervous system reset state is what the eyes, ears and senses are doing. So with the eyes, you're keeping them open because everyone knows it's lovely to close your eyes and meditate. But what we want to do is we want to keep the eyes open, but instead of spot focusing, so rather than looking at directly you guys at the camera, what I'm doing is I'm opening my focus so I'm looking at the periphery. Same thing with the ears. I can focus on the noises outside. What I'm doing is I'm actually opening my sense so that I'm hearing everything and nothing at the same time. It's an expansion. And the same with my inner senses and my feeling. So rather than focusing on an area or a thing or something on the outside, maybe the temperature or whatever, I'm allowing that sensation, that feeling sense, to be expansive and to take everything in. And this is beautiful if you do this outside. And once you've got the ribs, you don't need to put your hands on there anymore. I actually like to start most sessions with my hands on my ribs. It's kind of like a reminder. Just reminds my body what it's doing. And there you go. That's Qi breathing. Do it anywhere. Like with the getting into stance. If you're heating the kettle up, if you are standing in a queue, do some Qi breathing. No one will be any the wiser. Your system will calm. You'll put yourself in a restorative space regularly, and your body will remember that. When there are stressful situations, it will automatically trigger you into calming down when it needs to. So it's a lovely thing to practice, and I hope you enjoy that. If you have any questions, as always, pop them in the comments and I will answer those. Thanks very much. See you on the next one. Bye.